What is going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Thank you all so much for tuning back in. It really means a lot to me that you guys do keep coming on back for these little recaps. And yeah, let's just get started on another one. So, as you guys could tell from the thumbnail, it was another green day today. Not the biggest green day at all again. I was up right around kind of $34, just under. And here are all my filled orders for the day. I only had 12 orders, 12 fills, and yeah, it didn't take too many trades today, but once again, like yesterday, I did not average up at all today. I stuck to trading with $2,500. I've just really wanted to kind of cool off a bit given my red streak I've been having like the past month. So I did want to just kind of ease my way back into it, get a little more of my confidence back because I was definitely shaken up a bit. And yeah, I just want to keep it light. So today I only traded with $2,500, so I did make over 1% again on the day. And yeah, it has really been working out for me to not average up. I feel like I'm gonna consider just doing that in the future because I find myself always kind of getting in at good areas, and when it comes time to average up, that's what usually makes me kind of stop out because I average up heavy after getting in with a quarter, and if it usually just goes south, then I'll have to cut it somewhat quick to manage my risk, and then only for it to actually end up going with these fake outs. So yeah, definitely something I'm considering. But to talk about the Nasdaq today, it once again had another bearish day. Just like I said in yesterday's video, if you look at the 5-day 5-minute, it wouldn't have been the most surprising thing if the Nasdaq did start selling off again, right? Given how bearish it was with that CPI data report that released on Tuesday, it really tanked the market, and it just put some nice and fresh fear, into the market the past few days after that, couple days, and yeah. So the 5-day 5-minute, you can clearly see there's a strong resistance right around this level at the top VWAP. The Nasdaq could never push up past it. It would just keep getting rejected, and ultimately did keep falling for lower lows and lower highs. So I just want to walk through with you guys some of my trades on the day because there wasn't that many, and if you guys saw, it is a little surprising, but I made most of my money on TQs today, not SQs, even though the market was selling off a lot today, and I'll let you guys know why, kind of where the play was. I made my money on TQs, but as always, we should get focused right around here at market open. Right, this was right around 6:30 in the morning, kind of right around this general area. And like I always tell you guys, I do want to take time to always when I hop onto the computer, I always want to take time to just look at how the Nasdaq has been trading recently, like pre-market and after hours yesterday. And as you guys can see, since market closed yesterday, leading into pre-market, it was consistently selling off, right? It was validating this green SMA line here as a resistance level, and it could never really cross it, right? It kept getting rejected. So right when the market opened up, right around here, the Nasdaq did have a little drop to the bottom VWAP, a nice little sell-off, but ultimately, like it was doing before, it tried bouncing off the bottom VWAP, right? This bottom line right here. Multiple times it has tried bouncing off it and kind of finding support off it successfully. And today was no different, right? When it hit the bottom VWAP, it tried to soar a little bit, came back down, and it did form this little double bottom here, giving it just the momentum and everything with this big green candle to start trending up. But I was aware that given how bearish the market is recently, if we did see a push to kind of the top VWAP, I knew I was not going to look for a TQ's play unless there was some type of huge breakout, which I was really not expecting. I knew the Nasdaq was probably, if it did have any type of TQ's play, it was going to be short-lived, right? Kind of approach right around this area at the top VWAP, like I just showed you guys. It has recently done before, but it kept selling off, right? And today, the reason why I wanted to kind of focus right around here on TQs when the market opened up was because if you guys see these candles right here that started forming, these are nice sized green candles. And anytime you see some big candles like this, especially a green candle, obviously it's gonna form some type of buying pressure because people see that it's really trying to rally. So when I saw this forming, I saw that NQ didn't want to fall below the bottom VWAP and it was trying to kind of go, right? It was trying to rally. And once I saw it break this SMA line and this like middle VWAP right here, which it previously has not done leading into the market open, right? In the pre-market, it kept getting rejected off this green line, this SMA line. But when I saw it break above it, and it broke above it, not just like a little short-lived play, right? It didn't just touch above it and start falling, but this was a pretty decent-sized green candle. I started looking for a play on the upside, right? Because I did think there was potential for TQs to rally kind of to close to the top view up. And the one trade I want you to pay in particular to was this one right around here, was where I made the majority of my money on. It was at 6:56 in the morning I bought in and I sold 4 minutes later at 7. And if we look at the charts, once again, here's a timestamp. 6:56 in the morning, I caught like the bottom right here. I saw NQ kind of really push up like I just told you guys, and I was waiting for it to approach this EMA line again like it does, right? It rallied kind of nicely here, but it ultimately faded out a bit and it ended up finding a higher low off this EMA line. So that's the type of play I was looking for again. I bought in at 6:56 when it approached it, and I did sell once it had this nice green sized candle. I sold at 7 o'clock, I hit the highs for this green candle. And the reason why I sold was because it was just approaching the top view up. That was enough of a big push for me to want to lock it in, because I don't want to get greedy and hold kind of anywhere near the top view up basically. I knew there was a good chance it could start selling off. And once I locked that in, I did make my money back on SQs because I was red on it. If you guys see some of my first trades here, you'll see that I sold for a loss, right? And I did make the majority of my money back on SQs on this play right around here. When I saw it try to form a resistance right around here, I actually got in originally to one of these plays as it started falling. But with this but with this big candle that pushed up here, I got stopped out. But I did see that it couldn't pass this little resistance it formed right around here at 7 o'clock where I sold for the highs. It didn't want to pass it. It formed a lower high. So I decided to send it again. This was only like a couple minutes after I took a loss, but I did see a nice sized red candle come in, so I took another play. And I ended up selling kind of right around here down at the lows. I didn't take part in any of this other sell-off. And the reason for that is because it sold off pretty quickly. This was like within minutes, it dramatically sold off, right? It has some nice sized red candles. And typically after a big move like this, especially the big sized candles, you will see some type of support form because a lot of people want to lock in profits, right? So they're not just going to ride this out forever with a big aggressive sell-off. That was enough for me to want to sell too. And ultimately, it did end up just start selling off on the day. And right around these areas, obviously, like it has bounced before at the bottom view up, I didn't feel comfortable taking a position because I thought it could just be a little choppy. And ultimately, it did end up breaking below the bottom VWAP and start selling off again. And I did take one more small trade on SQs, kind of right around this general time from 7:20 to 7:58. I took another one, but yeah, not the biggest gain at all. I think I made like $8 on that gain right around here at 7:58. Right, I saw it kept wanting to sell off, but I did. It was enough of a sell off for me to want to get in again for a little play because it broke the pattern, right? It was no longer trying to hold above the bottom VWAP, but it had nice sized candles falling, just in the opposite direction of TQs, right? For SQs. It ended up falling down and I took a small position, but by then I didn't love my fill. It just kept falling in NASDAQ, but I thought it was pretty oversold at this point. So once it had another little drop, I just cut it quick. So not for much profit at all, but still very blessed to end green. And it really helps to look at the other time frames like the 5-day, 5-minute, because as you guys can see, the bottom VWAP, this bottom line here, it does end up kind of curling its way up, or just forming its way so it's not trending underneath the NASDAQ, right? But at the time when this was happening, this play, it broke right around here. It broke the bottom VWAP and it was selling off aggressively, right? Because like I just said, it was no longer holding this pattern. Once it broke below it, it was just enough of a kind of panic for everyone to think that it was going to start selling off. And it did have a nice size sell off, but ultimately did once again try finding some type of support. And it did pick up a little bit here, ultimately to just keep forming these lower highs and lower lows, right? It was just very bearish on the day again today. Not the worst patterns at all to trade. It was kind of, you can just see the highs and the lows of the day, and you could have just ran with that. You could have made money on TQs when you thought it was going to push up again, right, when near the bottom VWAP, or on SQs when it was approaching kind of overbought areas and wanting to sell off again. So yeah, that is basically it for my recap. I just want to say that I did get a comment the other day asking me about, I think it was yesterday, asking me how I scan for setups and everything like that. And I never scan for a setup, right? Every time that I just hop onto the market, I don't scan for anything. I always just trade the NASDAQ. I keep it simple for myself. And all I do is I pay attention to kind of how the Nasdaq was trading in the pre-market leading up to the market open. That's what I use to give myself an idea of where the market can go. And obviously, it's smart to use the bigger time frames, not like the 180 day. Obviously, if you're day trading, it's more relevant to use the bigger time frames in the sense of like the 5-day, 10-day, but not like the 1 year, 3 year. If you're day trading, that won't really do you much good. And yeah, if you look at, let's say, the 5-day, 5-minute, it does give you an idea of where kind of are just the potential support areas, right? And if it broke below it, why it makes sense it could fall, or the resistance areas up here of where it kind of just didn't want to pass. So if we did see some nice size candles break this pattern of trying to get rejected off the top VWAP, then it would make sense to maybe start going for a play on TQs, right? It didn't. It would look in that case like it wanted to break this pattern and start rallying, right? Not just selling off. But we didn't get that today. It validated the same pattern and fell even more on the day. And for the person that did ask me how I scan for my setups, I did leave them a comment saying that I used to only scan for setups using the scanner here to look at momentum stocks, and it's been a little while, so let me just look at one quick for you guys. And here are all the preferences I use. You can use the same thing. You just go to the scanner here and set up these same things, and it will show you the top gappers on the day, right? The one I want to pay attention to is CMRA. I just looked at that right now before filming the video, and it had kind of a really nice kind of rally on the day, right? And just like on Tuesday, when the Nasdaq sold off so aggressively and SQs was up almost like 20% from when the CPI data report was released to the highs of the day it had. It was up almost 20%, and I don't want you guys to think like, man, it was a once in a year, once in a blue moon type of thing, because excuse me, if you guys do like trading things that move that much, there's stuff like that pretty much every day. It's not an anomaly if you want to keep trading something like that. You can always come and trade momentum. The reason I stopped, like I've said in previous videos, is because I just was not comfortable anymore with managing my risk, because with great risk comes great reward. Obviously, there's a lot of money that could have been made. I mean, look at these plays. From right around here, this rally was another like 25%, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? To make just a quarter of your investment back within a day. That's absolutely nuts. But with the good, you always have to pay attention to the bad. What if you were someone that thought it was going to break out here because it kept going, and when you saw it break kind of this resistance a bit, you bought in? It's happened to me before, definitely. Only to take part in this awesome big red candle, right? I mean, look at the size of that red candle. In a second, this thing will drop like 6% on you. The one of the days I really decided to start looking to not trade momentum anymore was because I actually bought in with my full position. I sized up aggressively, and I literally got hit with like a 10% flush down candle, a huge red candle. Just I couldn't sell quick enough. Literally right when I bought in, just boom, it came in, and I just wanted to avoid things like that. So that's why I personally decided to not trade something like that. But that's not to say you shouldn't, right? A lot of people do. I still watch YouTubers that I've been following for a while now. They trade momentum stocks. So yeah, just very interesting for me to look at. Look at the 5 to 5 minutes, see kind of the lows of the day where it kind of wanted to go off, given based just off the past performance, right? It's just something interesting to look at, and you guys could definitely check out those stocks if you want to scan for that. But yeah, guys, that's been another recap. Thank you guys all so much for tuning back in. I'm really just trying to keep it just light this week, right? And next time I trade, I'll probably start looking to size up a bit more. But yeah, I just wanted to just take it a bit slow, right? No, there's no rush, you know. We still have everyone that wants to become a day trader. I don't know how young you are, but there's always so much time to still learn, right? Don't let one trade just be like a make it or break it type of trade. Just keep it cool, keep it consistent and everything. Keep yourself calm and collected and everything like that, and you should be fine. Just keep showing up to learn every day, and it will definitely pay off in the long run. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. It's been another recap, and take care, guys.